Yeah, I'll get this one right out of the way. It's one of the first. You ready?
Yes, thank you.
I'd like to bring the Planning Development Committee to order, please. Could I have a roll call?
Counselor Walker.
Here.
Counselor McBrearty. Counselor Cordino.
Here.
Could I get a motion for the minutes to be approved for November 15th, 2021? Mr. Cordino, Ms. McBrearty.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty. Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Seeing no old business, I'd like to go to new business. Under communication, Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. requests authorization for public hearing regarding proposal law number 1 of the year 2022, please. Local law amending Chapter 59, alcoholic beverages, synthetic drugs, social hosts, the Code of the City of Oswego, New York. First of all, this is just to bring it to public hearing, and I would like to make an amendment right now, if we could. I'd like to move the district from Utica Street right down to Oneida Street, and from there, go to East 3rd Street and Bridge Street only, if we could, to take care of Azteca and move it. There's nothing up south from Oneida Street. So anybody agree with that? I just talked to a few people about that earlier, so. And then on this, I'd like to turn it over to Mayor Barlow, and he'd like to explain a little bit more in detail about it.
Sure, thanks, Chairman. So what we're calling this is a social district. It's been done in numerous counties across the country rather successfully, and I think there's a bit of confusion where people actually think we're lifting the open container ordinance. That's not what we're talking about. What we're saying is within this district, in the boundary that has just been amended, is that if you're dining in a restaurant or you're drinking at a bar in these restaurants, you can order a drink as you leave. It gets put in a clear cup as you leave the restaurant, and you can walk within the red boundary with that cup. What you can't do is leave your house with a cooler full of a six-pack of Bud Light and go sit in the corner of West 2nd or West 1st or wherever and drink that Bud Light in a can. So there's really a big difference, and I think making that clarification is very important. And really the whole concept here is if someone is going to, let's just say, Southern Fare to have dinner, and then they end dinner at 7 o'clock and they want to go catch our Thursday night concert series at Veterans Stage, or they want to walk the farmer's market, or they want to walk to Gibby's, or they want to walk to catch the sunset at Brightbeck Park, and they get that drink to go, now they can do that. Very similar to what New York State's doing, where they say during the time of COVID, they let people get to-go drinks out of restaurants. So when they allowed that, you could get a to-go drink and get in your car and go eat at home or have the drink at home. We're really saying the same thing, minus the car. Just go walk down West 1st, down West 2nd, down the Riverwalks, or get to Brightbeck. So it just, in my view, and it's been evident in many other communities that have done this, it creates a new energy, makes it easier to walk around the community, and it gives people an opportunity to enjoy some of the things we have to offer here all in one night, rather than being tied to a specific place if you want to have a drink or you want to continue to have a bite to eat. I'd also point out that during our special events, more frequently, at least since I've been mayor, we've always lifted the open container for large events like the 4th of July parade, our downtown block parties, our concerts, the creepy crawl, the Christmas tree lighting. And there's a situation where we're bringing hundreds of people together lifting the open container ordinance. And how many problems have we had in the 6 years, 7 years since we've all been here that involved lifting the open container during city events? And that's where you have a lot of people congregated where you're almost inviting a bit of conflict. The fact that this will just be open and gradual and broad all day long, I think reduces the risk anyway. June 1st to October 1st would be the time frame, because you want to cover the summer months. I don't see any benefit in doing it during the winter because we don't have outdoor city events. There's just not much going on. Nobody's walking from Bistro 197 to Wrights Landing Marina in February. Although if you did, a drink would probably be a good thing to have. The hours would be noon to midnight. I think what that does is captures some of the events that we have during the day and into the night, but doesn't go all night, particularly students walking home at 2 a.m. from bars. Now they can't take drinks at 2 a.m., not just students, but people in general. That's usually the rowdy crowd, right, 11 to 2. So we've kind of cut that off at midnight to prevent any trouble from happening there. I am fine with the amendment on the district. It just made sense to me to make it almost symmetrical going all the way to Utica, but I understand the desire to cut it down to Oneida Street. I don't see any problem there. And again, there's plenty of other communities that have done this. We aren't the first. I'm sure we won't be the last, and it's a great way to really enhance the energy and add a bit of a social aspect to downtown with all the recent improvements we've done. I think it's the right move at this time. So happy to answer any questions and talk about any changes you'd like to make.
Any questions through the council first?
Not really a question, just, I represent a lot of the downtown restaurants and businesses, and in speaking with them, they are essentially unanimously in support of this. They think it will help business get people, to enjoy some of the other things the city has to offer. One thing I do want to ask is, should this be extended to the train bridge so that people that are, if they want to go to the east side to the tea company or in that area, would that be a more appropriate place and just have the other side of the street out of the zone, or?
Well, the way I'm looking at it, I'm trying to keep it away from Simeon DeWitt. You have your different housings that I want to try to keep it away from. So
Okay.
Simeon DeWitt's right there at the railroad
But Simeon DeWitt is,
right across the river from us.
but isn't that on, okay, so it's
Train's
close,
on
but
the other
not,
side.
okay. All right, so basically, if anyone wants to cross the river, they have to use Bridge Street?
Bridge Street
Okay.
only, correct.
All right.
And it'd be a little bit more easier to police, I believe. They aren't driving across the train bridge.
And the other comment I wanted to make is, in my, well, maybe almost 10 years that I've been back in the city, I've attended, countless concerts, events, block parties, and have never really had any issues at all with the open container being lifted for those events. Never seen fights, rowdiness, anything that was no different than, a usual day. So I don't see how this would contribute to any sort of bad activity. And, I've seen some of the comments on social media and different things, and a lot of the people who are making them don't attend the events. So I don't think they understand that most of the people who are eating at the bistro, eating at Southern Fare, going to some of the other businesses are responsible adults. They know how to handle their alcohol. They're not causing problems. They're not fighting. They're not, people are referring to drunks being in their front yard and things like that. It's just not the case. And I think that those are unfair assessments of who would be using this. And I think with everything we've done in the city, it's a natural progression. So I support it 100%.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Mr. Cordino?
Yeah, I needed to ask specific questions about the implementation. On page 3 of the law, maybe Mayor Barlow could answer this. It says here that under item 1, under requirements for sale of alcoholic beverages, the container clearly identifies the permittee from which the alcoholic beverage was purchased. So I guess my question is, will the bars who will want to participate in this, will they have like a special cup they have to buy with a logo or something on it?
So when we introduce it in June, the original plan I had was to have the city make an initial purchase of like 1,000 cups with the brand that was posted to go along with this program, just to get them started, to show them the type of cup that's allowed and to educate the public on the program. And then it's up to them, maybe give like one, each restaurant on West First Street or in the boundary 100 cups, just to launch the program. And then it'll be up to them to continue doing that if they want people to walk, to utilize this in their business.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Gozick?
Oh, yeah, just to follow up on Council Cordino's question. So with the cup, like, what if somebody took it and then just kept it and, I mean, is it gonna change? You know what I'm saying? Like, they have, like, if you're going to some event or something where they have a wristband, they'll change it. Do you know what I'm saying? So that the cup couldn't be like kept and reused.
I mean,
how are they gonna prove where, you know what I'm saying?
I'm
Just in
sure they
case-
can, but it'll be a plastic cup. There's a certain amount of hassle with carrying an empty plastic cup back home. You wash it, you bring it back out, you don't throw it away. I think someone is really gonna have to, I don't see people actually doing that. I suppose they could, but, I guess the benefit would be what? If you're home, you make a drink, you put it in the cup, you drive to the district, and then walk around with it. I guess I'm not against that either.
No, I was just wondering only because, obviously there are some concerns with potential abuse and all the progress that's been made. Like I can state for firsthand observer that everything we've done the last couple of years has made it so when you go down to the river, there's not like, how should I put it? People just sitting around drinking under the pavilions and, years past that had been a problem with, I don't know if they're homeless or whatever the case may be. And it's been so much better. That's my only concern is that we're not seeing any backslide with that. If people stored up the cups and then they could, congregate and whatever the case may be. I mean, I see the good to it, but I just wanted to ask because it would seem like if we looked into, if there was some sort of change, it was less likely to be abused.
All right, thank you. Mr. Burge?
Being that I was a police officer in the city of Oswego, I had some vast experience with the open container. But what a lot of people don't understand, most of that open container came from house parties, from college kids. I just haven't seen, I attend all the concerts. I go down to Breakback and attend the fire pits down there. People drink beer down there. It's kind of the same thing here. They're gonna be leaving restaurants. Restaurants don't serve people alcohol anymore until they fall off the bar stool. Them days are done. What we do here in the city of Oswego is actually pretty pleasant. When you go to the concerts down on Water Street, they're nice, everybody gets along, you see all the old friends from school. It's a whole different atmosphere here now. It's, and when we're putting this into effect, it's gonna be when the college kids are gone. They're not gonna even be. We're gonna get some locals that might be a problem here and there, but we can stop that in, 2 or 3 weeks, we can call it quit to this if we have to, but I don't see it being a problem. I think we're gonna make a major difference with the people that are around here. I don't know very many people that don't like to sit down by the water and have a drink. Every bar in the city wants to have people dining outside on patios. I think that's how we're gonna make the city of Oswego better. I think that's how we're gonna bring more people from outside here. Like Mayor Barlow mentioned already once before, we've become the new Skinny-Apples. I see no problem with that whatsoever.
Thank you. Anybody else with that? Ms. McBurney?
I just had a question about anticipating some of the housekeeping needs, especially down West First Street, which is all road and doesn't have very many trash containers, not like they do downtown, but even downtown, we need to increase the number of cans, make them more prominent and empty pretty regularly, so that they're not ending up with trash going around the neighborhoods.
Yeah, that'll come to the council. If you want to buy more trash cans and have them put out, we can do that. I think, as you guys know, we have DPW personnel 7 days a week, 7 to about 11, and that's their job is to keep downtown clean and empty the trash. I think driving around the last few years, even after big events, you don't see a whole lot of trash. That's, of all the things we've done, that's one of the compliments I get the most is the city looks so clean. So if there's a garbage issue, we can put some more trash cans out. I think generally people who litter and throw cups down, it doesn't matter where the nearest trash can is. That's a mental decision that they make versus there wasn't a trash can around, but I'll put more out. I'm fine with that.
Thank you. Anybody else from the council? We'll go to the public. Mr. Atkins? Yes, right there, please.
Some of you guys may know me, some of you may not, but I've been around for a while. I really think that what you're doing is really not the best thing for the city of Oswego. In fact, I think it's the worst thing you could do. You now are going to allow people, maybe young people, coming out of a restaurant, carrying a glass of beer, walking down the sidewalks between 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 o'clock, midnight. I live in that district. Y'all know I live at the Harbor House. I don't want these people standing outside of my building, my front lawn, shouting out and having a good time and whooping it up. I'm sorry, you don't know what's going to happen at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, and you don't know where this beer or these cups are going to be coming from. On top of that, I don't want to see the city spending money to give restaurants and bars cups as an experiment. Come on, guys, it's our tax dollars. This is our city. You know, you're tearing right at the moral fiber of our city as it is. I look at this article right here, and I see you already got it set for April 4th, 2022. I don't know, today's the 21st of March, as far as I can tell, you know? Now, you're gonna get a lot of feedback on this, and I'm just starting. This is, you know, you think it's the first time you're gonna see me. I've got time now, and you're gonna be hearing from me, every single one of you. And it's going to have a great effect on what happens in the upcoming election as well. Think not that I will not be active in it, because I will be very active. Now, I don't understand what the heck is the problem with dealing with, what is it? I'm sure you guys know this by heart. 59-1. Do you know what that section is? That is your open container law. And one of the things they quoted there is we want to keep the streets sanitary, safe, clean, and not having a bunch of stuff going on that we don't have going on. I've seen Harborfest. I was around when it started up. You already have a social district. It's called Brightbeck Park. You want to drink? Go on down to Brightbeck Park, okay? Don't start coming out and saying, oh, gee, we're going to give you a cup, come on out. You can walk up and down the street, and you don't know how drunk they're going to be at these dinners. You haven't got a clue. You're just sitting there thinking, hey, this is a great idea. Well, it's not. It stinks as an idea. It really does. I've never seen anything more ridiculous in my life than this thing. You're trying to teach your young people how to behave, and you're turning around and going to show them the way not to behave by having drunks up and down your streets. You say they could go from a bar and go into the public stores. What store's going to want somebody coming in there with a beer in their hand? You think Bob Bradshaw's going to watch you in there when he's setting out prescriptions? How about City Hall? You're in the district. Sit up here and have beer while you guys are debating. Is that what you want? I don't get it. You're not doing anything for the young kids of this city. You're giving them a bad example. Oh, shit, you can walk and drink any place you want. It's 20 blocks, gentlemen and lady. 20 blocks. And you have no control over where that alcohol's coming from or how to do anything with it. You, as an ex-cop, know better. You have been there. You've seen it. You can see it's from the college. You don't think college kids are going to be coming down here during the summer? They don't have summer classes? What? What are you thinking? Are you really that unsure about what this city is supposed to represent that you want to take a normal business atmosphere that's downtown and turn it into, how was it stated? Oh, a new experience with fun. We're not a fun city. This is a business. You haven't got that straight in your head yet? It's a business. The business is you pay taxes, you provide the service. We elect you to do this. And if you can't do it, trust me, I will be out there in November, and you don't know how serious I could, well, maybe you guys do know how serious I could get. So if you want to play this stupid little game, which I think it is, and it is a ridiculous, ridiculous recommendation, go ahead and do it. I'll be back up here for your April meeting. I'll be back up here for your May meeting. I will not stop coming up here and telling you what fools you are for making these type of decisions. You ought to know better. You've been around long enough. John, how long you been on the neck of the council?
6 years now.
Yeah, 6 years. Yourself, Mr. Cordino?
Same.
You've seen it. You've been here. What are you missing? You don't know what alcohol does to people, especially younger kids? And you don't think that they're going to get cups and glasses and move around the town? All right, I'll leave it alone. It's not going to go away, and I'm not going to either. You're doing the wrong thing, absolutely the wrong thing. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am?
One thing on this, you said that people aren't going to be able to bring their coolers down and sit up on the corner. How are you going to stop people from bringing beer or alcohol in and refilling those cups?
So people are going, in order to get a cup, you have to go into Bistro.
Right,
You have
correct.
to go into Southern Fare.
You go in, you buy
Okay.
this cup, you leave.
You don't just buy a cup, you have to buy a drink.
You buy your drink, you
Right.
leave.
Right.
You walk away, you finish your drink, you reach into your bag, you refill the cup. How are you going to stop that?
Look, I've been to Southern Fare and Bistro and Rooftop a lot. I can tell you that the people in those places of business eating and drinking are not going to go to that extreme to do so. It's
But
always.
people of Oswego will. How are you going to stop the average person who is walking down the street from reaching into their bag and refilling their cup that they just bought to go?
So, counselors, the
He
oldest.
had a great point.
The oldest tactic in debate is to take the 0.0001% of the argument and use it in a broad brush to make it the general rather than the very extreme exception.
And not
How
answer
many
the
times?
question.
How many times have we encountered the Bird scooters, for instance, 1 year ago around now? We're bringing Bird e-scooters to Oswego. You would have thought the sky was falling. You would have thought the city's going to be sued.
Oh, I thought the
People
scooters
are
were a
going to be
great
hurt.
idea.
People are going to get killed. The scooters are going to be in the way. Did any of that actually happen? No. But it was a form of debate to try to say, here's some exceptions that are going to happen along the way and why you shouldn't do it.
On the
So-
scooters, I think we need to expand for like a bike lane, because I think we need to expand the safety of that. Just putting that out there. But how do you stop the average Oswegonian, because that's who's going to benefit from this, is the average Oswego citizen who lives in our town, who lives here every day, noon to midnight. How do you stop them? How do you stop that homeless guy who just walked in and said, hey, can I get a to-go cup?
Excuse me. He is not gonna go in there and buy a to-go cup. You gotta buy a drink, and a homeless guy ain't gonna afford an $8, $10 drink.
I was in
Correct.
Bistro Saturday night. I didn't see any homeless people in
I'm
Bistro.
just putting the question
No,
out there.
but I'm answering your question. The problem is you're asking the wrong question.
So this is only for rich people?
Yes,
Cool.
that's the answer.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night. I'll be back next week to talk about Waterbury.
Mr. Becker?
Gentlemen, ladies, crowd, if anybody has a past experience in the last 2 years down on that river and seeing people party for the 4th of July and the other things, they're having a great time down there. I wasn't going to bother them. They weren't bothering anybody. They're having a great time. I have never seen anybody rowdy down there, and besides, Atkins is probably in bed by 9 o'clock. How does he know about seeing anything? You don't mind if I get that shot in there of him, do you? He leaves. I told him to stick around. Look it, you got to try this idea. There's other cities doing this stuff, okay? Welcome to Oswego. We're welcoming people here. We're a tourist town now. Let them come in and have a good time. Show them that we are friendly here, okay? We want you to come in and spend your money here instead of shoving them out the door again. Upstate New York is hurting right now. You guys need the money. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Mr. Becker.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Mr.
I just wanted to make a comment on, it's funny that Mr. Atkins left, but he made a comment that really speaks to kind of old Oswego and where we are today. And when he said Oswego is not a fun city, I mean, that right there says exactly why, I would vote in the opposite direction. He doesn't understand that the city has progressed so much in the past 6 years. And I mean, I give him a little bit of credit. He was taking care of his wife for a lot of that time, but politically, it's attack every single initiative that brings us forward, moves us forward, and that sort of argument holds no water. There's just no merit, no basis to it. And to say we're not a fun city is just so, 3 decades ago when nothing was happening. This is the first time in my life in the city of Oswego that it feels energetic, things are moving. We have 2 new buildings downtown that never would have happened with another administration. It just wouldn't. I mean, things are just so far in advance from where they were, and that type of thinking just is, it shouldn't be welcome anymore. I mean, we're all welcome to our opinions, but we're not there anymore. We're beyond that.
Thank you.
Kevin, he's not a happy person anyway.
Ms. McBurdy.
I did have a chance to talk to Chief Katie about his building on the proposal. And I think the one thing that strikes me about a lot of the comments that I've heard and the other is the difference between drinking in public and public drunkenness. So if someone is publicly drunk or disruptive and disorderly, we manage that. We already have the mechanisms to deal with that kind of behavior. The social district doesn't change that. And I think for the most part, we are responsible. And we saw that all through last summer with the outdoor extension of the outdoor seating for restaurants and bars and the allowance of the to-go, alcohol to go. So I really feel the chief is, and the LPD in general seems to be well positioned. They're thinking about what to do, how to make sure that they're ready for the challenges that might occur. But they won't occur because of the social district. They'll be the same challenges that they deal with now with people who don't, those few people who don't know how to behave responsibly as well.
Thank you. Any more questions, concerns? Mr. Cordino.
Just one more point. I know we all know this, but tonight we're just voting to have the public meeting. And I think there's only 3 of us that are on the planning committee. And I don't think it's fair if, for example, we voted this down and that the full council doesn't get an opportunity to vote on it. And the public, the greater Oswego area, gets a chance over the next 7 days to express their opinion to their fellow councilors. So I'm going to support this because I'd like to see it go forward and have the debate over the next 6-7 days and have the council have an opportunity, the full council, to vote on it, not just 3 people tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no more comments, concerns, could I get a motion, please? Would we, just to the attorney, do we have to make a motion to amend the district, the size, it's in committee?
I would if you're amending it, you're proposing the
Yes.
amendment through the committee, it's appropriate to have a motion for that effect.
Okay,
And then I can work with you on cleaning up the language.
okay, thank you. Excuse me? Oh, does it? Okay. Could we get a motion for the amendment to move it from Utica to Oneida? Counselor McBurdy, Counselor Cordino.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy. Counselor Cordino.
Yes, to amend.
Okay, as amended, could I get a motion? Counselor Cordino, Counselor McBurdy.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy. Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Thank you. Adjournment. Motion to adjourn? Counselor Cordino, Counselor McBurdy.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy. Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to call the Physical Services Committee meeting for March 21st, 2022 to order. Please call the roll.
Counselor Hill.
Here.
Counselor Burge.
Here.
Counselor Walker.
Here.
Counselor Gozick.
Here.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of our March 7th, 2022 meeting? Counselor Burge, Counselor Walker.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Is there any old business to come before this committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business under communication. Item number 1, Timothy Rice, Commissioner of Public Works and Parks and Recreation, has received a request from Brittany Rupert for the use of public space at Brightback Park near the heart-shaped flower bed on October 1st, 2022, from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. to hold a wedding ceremony. This is pretty self-explanatory. Commissioner Rice, just so you're aware, when any reservations are made at Brightback, we want to make sure that they understand that the park is still open. So even though they're having a ceremony, there may be people, passing through, riding bikes, playing Frisbee, so we just want to be sure that they're fully aware of that. There could be events nearby. It's just a part of having, such a popular destination now. So, did you have any comments you'd like to make, or? Perfect. Any questions or concerns from the council? Okay. Can I have a motion, please? Counselor Walker, Counselor Gozick.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
And looks like there's no other business. Could I have a motion to adjourn, please? Counselor Burge, Counselor Walker.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to open the Administrative Services Committee meeting for Monday, March 21st. Please call the roll.
Counselor Cordino.
Here.
Counselor McBurdy. Counselor Hill.
Here.
Counselor Plunkett.
Here.
Counselor Burge.
Here.
I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of the March 7th, 2022 committee meeting. Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Hill.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes?
Counselor McBurdy. Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burge.
Yes.
Any old business? Seeing none. Item number 1, under communication, Timothy Rice, Commissioner of Public Works and Parks and Recreation, request authorization for the purchase of pedestals to be used at the Cahill International Pier as part of the READY project in the amount of $43,421.16. Commissioner Rice or somebody else want to talk about this at all?
I didn't know if you had any questions on this. This is just pedestals for the docks, for the future docks going in and getting these orders.
And can you be a little more descriptive on the pedestals themselves? Just for some of us that aren't...
That sit on every dock that you see down at the marina that's powered. The pedestals on the dock that provide power, that's what these are for.
Okay, now, see, I'm not a boater, I didn't know
All
that.
right, either am I.
Any other questions for Commissioner Rice? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor McBurdy, Counselor Burridge.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy. Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burge.
Yes.
Item number 2, Timothy Rice, Commissioner of Public Works and Parks and Recreation, requests the city chamberlain be authorized to complete a transfer of funds from the sanitary sewer equipment account to the sanitary sewer contracted services account in the amount of $43,478 for the installation of a backup power generator at the DPW garage. Commissioner Rice?
I had Counselor Cordino question me this a couple days ago. This is something, I gave you the 2021 budget that was scheduled under the lift pumps and the generator. It was rolled over to the 22 budget, and this is finally to spend their money on a backup generator at the DPW
And it's to replace the generator that's there.
to install.
Install.
We don't have one right now.
Never had one at all?
No.
Any questions for the commissioner? Yes, Commissioner.
I don't believe this is a question. I just like to say, a backup generator is probably the best thing, because you can't get your fuel, you can't do your work on your equipment if we had a snowstorm. There's a lot of use for a backup generator for municipality building for that, so.
And Counselor Walker knows if we're without power, the DPW is going to be busy. And that'll keep our shop open.
Yes.
The trucks are plows fueled.
be able to get out for
Your police
everything.
wouldn't have fuel, so
Yeah.
I just like to say that.
Certain critical piece of infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. Anybody else have any comments or concerns from the public? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor Hill, Counselor Plunkett.
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy? Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burge?
Yes.
Item number 3, the Engineering Department requests transfers of funds in the total amount of $70,000 from the High Dam Equipment Account and the High Dam Repairs to Equipment Account to the High Dam Contracted Services Account for professional services for the High Dam Hydroelectric Facility. City Engineer Hinderleiter, you're up.
As the councilors know, we've been engaged in upgrades and work and a lot of things happening. In particular, Unit 1 that experienced a pretty catastrophic failure in some hydraulics and in subsequent repairs, we've discovered a numerous number of issues that should have been addressed in the past and haven't. And so it's one of those, the cost to take it apart is significant, and so while you're there, get it fixed. And so we've been going through staying in our budget. Now to kind of finish Unit 1 off, I just need to move money around to get it into one place just to make it easier to pay. But with this, we should be able to finish our work on Unit 1 and then take another look at our budget and see what else we can do with what you gave us this year.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the council on this one or concerns? I just had one, while I've got you here, and we're talking about the High Dam.
Sure.
How are things going with the renovations, the Exciter and all that? I mean, when will we see things back to normal and everything running at 100% capacity?
Yeah, so...
Hate to put you on the hot seat.
Oh, I'm used to it. So right now, the project has been awarded to Patricia Electric, and we are working with their sub Northeast Controls, and we're doing preliminary stuff right now. And so they are starting the design process to get all that equipment ready. There's going to be, within the next few weeks, a flurry of activity as the plant is inspected, gone through, make sure all the drawings are in place, and then it'll get quiet as the system is designed, and then parts are ordered, and probably this fall we'll start seeing things show up and they'll actually start working. That being said, all in all, the project should take about 18 months, and that's going to be very contingent upon supply chain issues. Hopefully, these products, what we've been told is like the exciters themselves are pretty much a standard unit. It's not something that has to be custom built. So a lot of it will be, shouldn't be subject to too much of that. Once that part is done, they're going to be doing generator one at a time as they do this, and so that's part of the pressure to get these generators operating mechanically. We are also working on finalizing our agreement with Brookfield and getting that set so that we have a safe operating agreement between us and them due to the issues we know that fishermen at Varick and the Varick station that it can cause, all the risks there. We've stepped up and agreed to make sure we're doing our part to be cooperative on the Oswego River to keep it safe and open to our fishermen. So that's also going on right now. We voluntarily said we're not going to operate until that's done, and so as a status update, we're nearing completion of that on our end, the draft, using the legal office and everything at our disposal. So once the mechanical repairs are done, units 1 and 4 will be completely ready to churn as long as we get the thumbs up from the FERC. Units 2 and 3, unit 2 is still down. It needs a new exciter, and so that one will be down until the upgrade's done. That one may become a good candidate for our first exciter to go in, since it's mechanically sound, but it just needs an exciter. Unit 3, we may have a larger mechanical issue that we're actually going to have an inspection done to try to determine what kind of scope of work. So part of the work that's actually going to be happening in the next few months is bringing in an independent contractor who's familiar with hydro, who's been doing these repairs, having them go through each unit and do a thorough inspection and come up with a capital plan for us to be able to say, here's all the issues that we've identified, here's in priority, these are the ones that you need to do. Some of these, they're an issue, but the unit can run, and it's not a large risk to let it run. And so that's kind of where we're at for the next few months, is a lot of talking, a lot of thinking and planning in order to get us the knowledge we need to make sure we're making wise decisions in our investment.
All right, thank you. I think the council has shown that we are behind the renovation and the improvements of the high dam, and we're anxious to get that up and running so we
Absolutely.
can start earning some revenue.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you're working night and day on that one.
All two of us are working very hard.
It's appreciated. Any other questions or concerns from anybody? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Councilor McBurney, Councilor Plunkett.
Counselor Coردino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurney. Yes. Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burge.
Yes.
Item number 4, the Engineering Department requests authorization for the mayor to sign the professional services proposal prepared by Labella Associates DPC for architectural and engineering design services for the Conway Municipal Center miscellaneous projects in the amount of $58,500. City Engineer Hindeleiter, once again.
So probably about 6 months ago, the police chief came to me and was talking different issues with the Conway building. It would be his desire that we build a new police station that's state-of-the-art with all the space and all the resources that we have, that we would need. I think we can imagine that's a pretty high price tag. So at the moment, we need to take care of what we have, and the primary need over there is a new roof. So the Labella was approached to develop plans to be able to replace the roof, but also have them do what's called a schematic design, which is a preliminary design to a point to where they can get a good budget together to say, to make the police station the best we can with what we have, this is what it will cost. And with that, we'll be able to use that knowledge to make a decision on what can we invest in that's reasonable, what do we have to look at other solutions for. With the amount of work that my office has to do, normally this is something that an engineering office would handle in-house, but I just don't have the staff or the resources to do so. So we reached out to Labella. They have it. This is a pretty competitive price for what we're asking for. The end result of this will be a fully bid roof project to replace the entire roof of the building, and schematic designs to look at HVAC cost, to upgrade the HVAC system. The exterior facade, there are spots where it's spalling, and we need to know how severe is it? Is it just cosmetic, or is there something more severe like this wall, like this bell tower that was going on? It's going to include, it'll look at the interior renovations, taking a look down in the locker rooms to see how they need to be changed. As you know, the 30 by 30 initiative has been committed to by the city. The women's locker room won't fit the 30% that we need there. And so there are renovations that need to occur inside. And so part of that, because it's an old building, there's a hazardous materials assessment that needs to be done, because the cost to dealing with lead paint or asbestos can be significant in a renovation of a historic building. And so I thought it appropriate that we don't get a commitment and pay them to take it to 100%, but rather let's have them do schematic design to come up with a budget, and then we can always negotiate further design costs should we want to undertake those projects, rather than commit ourselves to a really large project that may not come to be.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the council for our city engineer? From the public? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Councilor Burge, Councilor Hill.
Counselor Coordino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurney. Yes. Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burge.
Yes.
Item number 5, City Clerk Mark Tesorario is requesting a transfer of funds within the city clerk's office in the amount of $4,000 in order to cover the cost of a temporary records office intern to help log, file, and organize the records office. Now, City Clerk Tesorario is not here, but he did call me and said that he wouldn't be here, and he did make mention that this is ongoing work that they've been doing. They've had an intern there. You might remember that we did authorize some funds for the intern. And this is actually money that is in his budget, but was going to be used for a conference that he and the deputy city clerk was going to go to, but now they're going to do it remotely via Zoom. So they don't really need the money for the conference anymore, so they'd like to put it, transfer it, and have the interns stay a little longer to do all the work that needs to be done for record upkeep. Any questions about this request from the council, from the public? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor Hill, Counselor Plunkett.
Counselor Coordino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy. Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burge.
Yes.
I believe that's the last item. Is there any unfinished business? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn? Counselor McBurdy, Counselor Burge.
Counselor Coordino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy. Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burge.
Yes.